hard as you go down, letting the arms come up so the hands are at shoulder height. And then you press through your feet.
Wendy is keeping herself fit and healthy in anticipation of the birth.
So we're breathing in.
The impact of fetal health on growth, development and ageing, brain development and diseases at both ends of the lifespan is the focus of research at the Liggins Institute. It was founded in 2002 by Peter Gluckman.
I personally believe that preventative medicine starts with conception. If we want to do the best for the next generation, be it in terms of brain development, be it in terms of not getting obese, not getting heart disease, not getting diabetes, while the effects may sound subtle, they're not.
So you're getting a bit more
The healthy start to life based on a well-nourished woman conceiving to a husband or a partner who's not taking drugs or alcohol or smoking and breastfeeds that baby after birth. She's doing the most important task she can do in terms of that child's ultimate life.
And stack up nice and tall.
The basic biology says that that when you're just a one cell, then subtle changes in the environment can have enormous influences for all the daughter cells that will go on to making that human being.
Curl down.
Fetal and maternal health also affects the birth experience.
What we do know is that women who are in a lower nutritional state at the time they conceive are more likely to give birth to premature babies, are more likely to give birth to growth retarded babies. And so to be dieting at the time you conceive, to have an unbalanced diet at the time you conceive, to be deficient in key vitamins like folate, iron and zinc and iodine at the time you conceive is potentially bad for the baby.
Along with a balanced diet, moderate exercise is recommended for pregnant women. Spark put out a brochure with guidelines for being active during pregnancy. Paul Hoffman is leading an exercise intervention study at the Liggins Institute. 100 women are using an exercycle for 40 minutes a day, 5 days a week, in the second half of their pregnancy. They and their babies will be followed through until the child is 5 years old. Over the last 30 to 40 years, life in New Zealand has become more sedentary.
At the same time, there has been a range of increase in complications during pregnancy. The number of caesarean sections, for instance, has increased from around 5% in 1980 to over 30%, and this is in healthy first pregnancy mothers.
There's been a similar but less impressive increase in the number of operative vaginal deliveries, such as forceps or ventouse. As well as this, obesity rates around the world have climbed dramatically.
We've ascribed this to environmental changes postnatally in what we're eating and how much exercise we do. There is, however, a very good argument that it may be programmed into us by what happens before we're born, and that involves both nutrition and possibly exercise.
3! Lovely!
A baby who's oversupplied with food during pregnancy is programmed to store food more effectively and therefore is more likely to become overweight or obese during childhood. Exercise reduces the amount of food that's supplied to the baby through the placenta.
Therefore, the baby will grow at a slightly less rate than it would otherwise would, and we would argue at a more normal rate. We would argue that the normal human state is to be exercising at a mild to moderate degree daily.
Sitting up nice and straight, lift your foot up.
One could argue that 40 minutes of exercising a day is still not a lot compared to what women used to do when they used to do all the housework, when they used to walk to get all the groceries, when we didn't have the cars, we didn't have the automation that we have now. Hi, Susie.
Susie is 36 weeks pregnant and enjoying being involved in the study.
I often come home from work and I've got no energy and are tired, but then you get on the bike for 40 minutes and then it gives you a whole piece of energy again. So it's been very good.
Findings of the study are still preliminary, but there's been a 50% reduction in caesarean sections and significantly less operative vaginal deliveries.
We have increased reports of well-being during pregnancy. Weight gain has not been changed that much, and weight loss afterwards hasn't been changed that much, but the women are much fitter and much more active and seem to be able to cope more afterwards. And the effects on the babies, there has been a approximately 300 gram loss of birth weight compared to the group that don't exercise, which is about a 10% reduction. And when we've looked at their body composition, this equates to approximately a 15% reduction in body fat, which is quite exciting.